An extremely common question that I get from my clients at the time of moving them to Dubai is the question that do I need an office space while setting up my UAE free zone company or getting my UAE residency? Is there a requirement for a physical office space? Well, there are a few parts of this equation to understand. Do you require it or do you don't require it? The short answer is that if you have a virtual lease agreement, in most of the cases, you would not need to have a physical office space. However, in this video, we are going to discuss what is a virtual lease agreement, how you can get it, and in case you do actually need a physical office space, what would be the situations where you have to go and get a physical office space. So we will break down all of these things. We will discuss it all in this video. So stay tuned till the end of the video. Now coming to the topic of the video, do you need a physical office space while setting up your company in Dubai? The short answer to start off with is, in most of the cases, you would not need it. There's something called virtual lease agreement that is issued by the free zone in which you will set up your free zone company. And this virtual lease agreement would state that your company is based out of the business center in the free zone. It would be a legal document. It would be a lease agreement that you can use to show as proof of address wherever you want to show. You can build your business cards, your letterheads on those address. The only thing that you cannot do with that virtual lease agreement is you cannot use the office space in that business center of the free zone. So it's not something that you can actually use unless you pay for the office access. That's the first thing. You can also not use any mailing service on that address unless you actually pay for the mailing service separately. So the virtual lease agreement that is given to you by the free zone, it's free of cost and it's renewed every year when you renew your license. And again, it's renewed at no cost, extra cost to you. Now, if you want to use the business center as a shared workspace or a dedicated workspace for yourself, you can pay some extra to the property division of the free zone and then get yourself a space to actually use. And similarly, if you want to use the same address for your mailing services to receive your mails, to your posts and stuff, you can buy that service separately from the free zone as well. So in 95% of the cases, the virtual lease agreement that is free of cost from the free zone, that would be sufficient enough to have your company set up, to have your visas issued, residency visas issued, all these things are good to go. Now, I want to address the scenarios where you might need to go for a shared workspace. If you're applying for 2 investor or employee visas from a free zone company, you don't need any additional office space. Your virtual lease agreement is sufficient enough. However, if you need 3 visas or more, then depending on how many visas you are getting, you have to buy a shared workspace from the free zone itself. It cannot be from outside of the free zone. In a free zone, you can get from 3 to 6 visas, like maximum is the 6 visas that you have to take. If you're taking 6 visas, then you have to probably rent out 3 to 4 workspaces. If you're going for 3 investor or employee visas from the free zone, then you have to take out like 2 shared workspaces from the free zone. Of course, there's a cost involved with it. I think it's $8,000 per workspace, and then you have to pay every year you have to get it renewed. So depending on how many visas you take and what offers do we have with the free zone, sometimes the free zone can also offer some consideration. So instead of you taking 2 shared workspaces, they can issue the visa on 1, but depending on the situation. So up to 2 visas, there is no additional workspace required. From 3, there's the 1 required, and then as you go up, the more visas that you take from the free zone, the more workspaces would be required for you to take. So that was the scenario of the free zone itself. Now, the maximum number of visas that in a particular free zone that we can get is 6. In normal situation, when you have a digital company or a service-based company, of course, if you are setting up a factory in Javza or Davza or Raquez, then if you need like 50 labor force or workforce, of course, you can get it done. I'm talking about normal course of business where you're setting up a digital or a service-based business or a trading business. So that's the maximum number of visas that you can get. So if you want, like, let's say you are opening up a software company in Dubai and you want to bring all your software engineers to Dubai, and maybe your team is of 25 people and you have to issue 25 visas. Now, certainly we cannot do that from a free zone company because, as I said, the maximum number is 6. What we can do is for tax optimization purposes, we can have the free zone company to operate and sell to your clients outside of UAE. And for the residency purposes, we can open another branch in the mainland, and depending on the type of the company that you're opening, there is a predefined quota from the mainland that you can issue the visas, and you have to go and apply for a higher quota. Let's say you want 25 or 30 employees, you have to apply for a higher quota with the Ministry of Immigration. And at that point, the Ministry of Immigration, based on the license activities that you have, they can ask for a physical office space that is large enough to accommodate, the team that you are trying to build. Again, that differs from industry to industry. Some people who operate, a food delivery model where they will have 100 bikes and 100 riders, the office space requirement would be different. If you are a software firm with 25, 30 engineers, it's a bit different than, setting up a factory in manufacturing and having a labor workforce of 200 people. So that's, if you want to have an expanded team in Dubai and you want to give all of them visas, then of course you need to consider it. I want to make a point clear that it's only if you have employees that you want to bring over to Dubai on your sponsored visas. So if you have like international contractors, subcontractors, overseas virtual assistants, those are not considered the employees of your UAE company from an immigration perspective or from a residence visa perspective. So in that case, let's say you have 5 virtual assistants, a marketing director, or developers in whatever part of the world, then from an immigration perspective, we have only one visa for you as the investor or the owner, and all your labor workforce is internationally diverse, so there is no connection of that workforce to the immigration of this company that you have in UAE. So far we have discussed what are the situations when a virtual lease agreement from the free zone is sufficient enough. When do you have to get a shared workspace from the free zone, and where would we need a physical office space if in case of the mainland companies? I want to touch upon 2 more scenarios where you might need a physical office space, and that is like the first one is the banking requirements. Okay, so if you are going for a VO bank or a digital bank account, let's say VO, they would certainly accept the virtual lease agreement that is coming from the free zone. However, if you want to go for a bigger bank, let's say Emirates NBD, Emirates Islamic, a bank with branches, a bank where you have a branch banking, you have a relationship manager, you need priority banking for your business, you have large fund requirements to operate the business, right? If you go to those banks and if you show the virtual lease agreement from the free zone, there is a high chances, they would not accept your application. Or, once you put the application, it will get rejected. So for a banking perspective, they want to see some substance of you operating from within UAE for them to be able to give you the bank account, the corporate bank account, I mean. And for that, if that's the case, of course, it does not have to be right away when you're setting up the company, when you're setting up the residence visas. It can be a phased approach where we set up your company, we set you up a VO bank account that's for your corporate and a personal bank account, let's say in Emirates NBD and Emirates Islamic. And then you build your bank statement for both of those banks for the first 6 months. And then you have a local bank statement for corporate, for personal. At that point in time, we can go and rent out a small office space from a business center in Dubai, let's say in Business Bay. And then we can use these documents that we have built upon to go and apply for a bigger bank account, let's say with Emirates NBD. That would increase your chances of success. But to summarize the point, you definitely need a physical office space with at least a business center in Dubai to be able to successfully apply for a bank account with these kinds of banks. And the last thing is the economic substance requirements. Okay, so there are certain business activities, especially in the financial and the investment niche, where there are additional economic substance requirements based on the economic substance law that are applicable. And if that's your business activity, then certainly to fulfill the economic substance requirements, you have to have a local office space in UAE. So I hope you enjoyed the video and it was informative to you. I tried to break down exactly how it is so you have exact knowledge of what needs to be done and what are the requirements, and then you would need a physical office space, or do you even need it or not. So we always take a phased approach where we will try to understand the requirements and see if a physical office space is actually needed, and then we arrange it at the point when it needs to be done. So that's it for today, and I would request you to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel as I try to bring more and more quality content on Dubai business and residency every week, and I hope that will benefit to you eventually when you decide to make this move of coming to Dubai with your family, with your business, and make this your next home. If you want to work with me and my team, there is a link to my calendar below. You can click that link, book a one-on-one call with us, and we can assess if we are a good fit for each other and how we can help you move your business, your personal residency, your family, your funds to Dubai in a smooth manner. So that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video.